In September 2015, as the Queen neared yet another royal record, becoming Britain's longest-reigning monarch, the historian David Starkey paid tribute to the sovereign's careful, non-controversial approach to her role, dubbing her Elizabeth the Silent. Indeed, silence has been a hallmark of Queen's 6 decades on the throne. In a world where everyone seems to have an opinion on every subject, the Queen has been resolutely tight-lipped about hers. She does not share her personal political views with the rest of us. The only hints we've gotten of her politics have come second-hand, through the whispers of party-goers, courtiers, and even the occasional indiscreet prime minister, never confirmed and never clarified. Andrew Marr wrote in 2012 that the Queen has never confessed or reinvented herself. When something hurtful or wrong is reported, she bites her tongue. As a young woman, she was a global superstar, but she does not play to the media in a gushing way and certainly does not court them. In a monarchical world where image is everything, Marr argues, the Queen simply has no image at all. This silence, this lack of defined image, allows for much interpretation. The Queen is a cipher. She can be everything or nothing at the same time. Since she doesn't express her own feelings, thoughts and opinions are often assigned to her. She became a sort of mirror, reflecting back any opinion that the holder wishes to project upon her. And that brings us to the matter at hand. The press has gone wild over one of these projections, a theory that argues that the Queen hasn't actually been silent at all, but instead has been telegraphing us secret messages about her politics. Her preferred method of expression? Her jewelry, specifically, her enormous collection of brooches, the glittering ornaments that she pins to her coat or dress for nearly every public engagement. Hello and welcome to Royal Scandal. Please do well to like, subscribe, comment and turn on the notification bell so as not to miss out on any news updates. Number 1. Queen Victoria's Diamond Fringe Brooch. This diamond fringe brooch, which was once a part of a much larger corsage ornament, originally belonged to Queen Victoria. Made by Garrard in 1856, it features diamonds presented to Victoria by Sultan Abdul Mejid I of Turkey earlier the same year. The brooch was inherited personally by King Edward VII, and then it was passed as a personal jewel from Queen Alexandra to Queen Mary and then to the Queen Mother. The Queen inherited the brooch in 2002, and she's worn it for both day and evening occasions since. Here, she wears the jewel for the commemorations of the 70th anniversary of D-Day in France in June 2014. Number 2. Queen Victoria's Pearl and Diamond Brooch. This intricate brooch features diamonds and 11 pearls. The piece originally belonged to Queen Victoria, who designated it as an heirloom of the crown. It was a great favorite of the Queen Mother, and in more recent years, it's been worn with increasing frequency by the Queen, appearing in 2 recent Christmas broadcasts. In the photograph above, the Queen wears it in March 2015 for a service of commemoration for troops who were stationed in Afghanistan. Number 3. Queen Victoria's Diamond Jubilee Brooch. As the brooch's name suggests, this jewel was given to Queen Victoria in 1897 by the members of her royal household to mark her Diamond Jubilee. Victoria later designated the brooch, which was made by Garrard, as an heirloom of the crown. The Queen Mother especially treasured the brooch, wearing it until her death in 2002. The Queen has worn it occasionally since, including a memorable bejeweled appearance in Canada in 2010. Above, she wears the brooch in Toronto during the 2010 royal tour. Number 4. The Crown Ruby Brooch. This classic brooch, part of a larger suite of ruby and diamond jewels, was purchased by Queen Victoria from Garrard in 1854. The piece was originally set with opals, which were later replaced with these bright red rubies. The brooch was designated as an heirloom of the crown by Queen Victoria. It was a beloved piece of the Queen Mother, who continued to use it until her death. The Queen made her public debut in the brooch at Royal Ascot in 2015. Number 5. The Courtauld Thompson Scallop Shell Brooch. This masterful brooch, which features a shell motif and diamond studded with a single round pearl, was made in 1919 in London by the Goldsmiths and Silversmiths Co., Limited. It was designed in part by Sir Courtauld Thompson, who was the son of a famous Scottish inventor. His sister, the writer Winifred Hope Thompson, ended up with the piece, and she left it to the Queen Mother in 1944. She treasured the piece, even wearing it on her 100th birthday. Now, the Queen loved and wore the brooch equally frequently. Here, she wears the jewel at the Canadian Museum of Nature in 2010. Number 6. The Russian Sapphire Cluster Brooch. This exquisite diamond, gold, and sapphire cluster brooch originally belonged to Empress Marie Fyodorovna of Russia, sister of Queen Alexandra. In 1934, Alexandra's daughter-in-law, Queen Mary, reportedly bought the brooch from Marie Fyodorovna's daughters. The brooch was a great favorite of the Queen Mother, and in more recent years, the Queen has begun wearing it as well. Here, she wears the brooch at the Vatican in April 2014. Number 7. The Diamond Maple Leaf Brooch. This fantastic diamond brooch, made by Esprit, was a gift from King George VI to the Queen Mother ahead of their 1939 tour of Canada. The Queen Mum treasured the brooch, which is made to resemble a leaf of the Canadian sugar maple, and wore it throughout her life. The Queen inherited it from her mother in 2002. Both women have often loaned the brooch to other family members visiting Canada, and the Duchesses of Cornwall and Princess of Wales have made memorable recent appearances in the piece. In this photograph, the Queen wears the brooch for Canada Day celebrations on Parliament Hill in Ottawa in 2010. Number 8. The Queen Mother's Cartier Lily Brooch. This diamond jewel, which some have nicknamed the foot-long brooch because of its unusual length, actually measures just under 7 inches long. The piece was made in 1939 by Cartier, a favorite jewelry firm of King George VI and Queen Elizabeth of the United Kingdom. The Queen inherited the brooch from her mother in 2002, and she's worn it on occasion in the years since. Above, she wears the brooch for a state banquet during the South African state visit in March 2010. Number 9. The Sapphire and Diamond Grapes Brooch. The Queen Mother began wearing this woody sapphire and diamond brooch during her marriage, and she kept it in her collection for the rest of her life. The Queen inherited the brooch from her late mother in 2002. We don't know much about its provenance, but the setting of the sapphire bow portion has always made me suspect that Van Cleef and Arpels may have had a hand in its construction. Here, the Queen wears the jewel for a service at Canongate Kirk in Edinburgh in June 2019. Number 10. The Queen Mother's Palm Leaf Brooch. The Queen Mother commissioned Cartier to make the palm leaf brooch for her in 1938. The brooch features a classic Indian palm leaf motif, which has also become very recognizable as part of the famous paisley print produced in Scotland. The brooch was one of the Queen Mum's favorites, and it has now also become a favorite of the Queen, who inherited it from her mother in 2002. In this photograph, the Queen wears the brooch as she opens Westminster School's new sports centre in London in June 2014. Number 11. The Queen Mother's Aquamarine Art Deco Brooch. This gorgeous aquamarine and diamond brooch dates to the Art Deco period. The Queen Mother began wearing it in the 1930s, and in 2002, she left it to the present Queen. The Queen debuted the brooch at Royal Ascot in 2014, pictured above, and since then it's made numerous appearances, including an outing during her annual Christmas broadcast. Number 12. The Queen Mother's Curved Aquamarine Clip Brooches. According to Leslie Field, these aquamarine clips arrived in the Queen Mother's collection in the 1930s, when she was still Duchess of York. She wore them for years, on gowns, jackets, and hats. They were inherited by the Queen in 2002, and she wears them on occasion. In this photograph, she wears them for a reception held for the Royal Life Saving Society at Buckingham Palace in November 2016. Number 13. The Queen Mother's Cartier Ruby Floral Clip Brooches. The Queen Mother acquired these ruby and diamond floral clip brooches from Cartier in the 1940s, and she wore them both separately and together. She kept the brooches in her collection until the end of her long life in 2002. They were inherited, along with the lion's share of her jewels, by her daughter, Queen Elizabeth II. She has worn them on occasion, one at a time, in the years since. Here, she wears one of the brooches in King's Lynn on Christmas Day in December 2009. Number 14. The Queen Mother's Australian Hibiscus Brooch. The hibiscus brooch, set with diamond and rubies, was given to the Queen Mother by the people of Australia in 1958. The Queen Mother was absolutely delighted with the gift, and she began wearing it right away. The Queen inherited the jewel from her mother in 2002, and she's worn it occasionally in the years since. In 2018, it was a very appropriate choice for the annual Commonwealth Day service at Westminster Abbey. The Queen wears it here for a visit to RAF Valley, where Prince William was stationed, in April 2011. Number 14, the Centenary Rose Brooch. Queen Elizabeth II commissioned this unique brooch from Collins & Sons as a 100th birthday present for the Queen Mother in 2000. The brooch features a hand-painted Queen Elizabeth grandiflora rose on a background of rock crystal, surrounded by a frame set with 100 diamonds. The Queen Mother wore it until her death in 2002, and now it's a favorite piece of the Queen, especially for springtime events, like this appearance at Royal Ascot in 2016. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe.